I don't know what's going on right now, but when we talk about the transfers that FC Barcelona are trying to do, it almost does seem unreal. If you guys have not been keeping up with the transfers lately, it has been very crazy. Barcelona have been moving a lot, and I was about to make a video earlier today about how Barcelona should either go for Nico Williams or Chavis, because obviously Barcelona cannot get both, right? That almost seems very fantasy. It almost seems fake. And so I was comparing the two players. I'm like, okay, Chavis has this, Nico Williams has that. But then in the middle of me making that video, another report surfaced through the media that did state that Barcelona are interested in incorporating both players to the club. So it does seem like Barcelona will be targeting both players. And that is just insane, dude. Like, I just cannot believe that Barcelona are trying to go in this way. I even made a Twitter post where I said it almost seems unreal, right, to see that Barcelona are going to be going for Nico Williams, Chavis, and Zubimendi. If Barcelona can lock down those three players in this upcoming summer with the other player that we are going to be signing from Real Betis, Barcelona will be set. And one of the things that this is also telling me is that this whole thing about Joao Felix being signed permanently is basically dead. Like, that whole operation is just not going to happen. Like, yes, thank you, Felix. Thank you for everything that you have given us. Thank you for the goals. Thank you for the assist. But overall, Barcelona are stating he is not the profile that they are looking for, nor does he have that extra, I would say, that oomph, right? That punch, the punch that you can feel in the attack like this. He does not give you that type of intensity. Every time we see Joao Felix on the field with the ball, there is no real desire. When he's off the ball and he has to defend, there is no real desire. Trust me, if you watch the games of Joao Felix, there is just something about him that does not rub on you very well. Also, combine the fact that Atletico Madrid are not going to be doing Barcelona any favors. Like, right now, Barcelona is trying to fight for a 25 million euro price tag to sign Joao Felix permanently. Atletico Madrid are asking for like 55 to 65 million euros. There is no way Barcelona are going to be paying that amount, knowing that there are other players out there that fit the profile of Barcelona that are worth the exact same amount, which is around 55 to 65 million euros. There's no way. They can do so much more with those type of funds. And so I feel like Joao Felix is going to go back to Atletico Madrid, and Atletico Madrid are going to be having a very tough time trying to figure out what they're going to do with that player next. But as for Barcelona, we're going to be stepping aside. We're going to be looking into the future, and that is Chavis and Nico Williams. And it says here, according to Fabrizio Romano, that Barcelona will try to bring in Chavis on loan. Everyone at the club loves the player and believe he would be a fantastic signing. The player will have a say in where he wants to go. Also, RB Leipzig cannot afford a permanent move because PSG is pricing Chavis at around 100 million euros. It has been said by multiple reports. And then he just continues to say that Barcelona are pushing to sign Chavis. A loan is the most likely option. Tony Juan Martí stepped in right after this report, and this is what Tony Juan Martí had to say about Nico Williams. Barcelona will invest all of their money in Nico Williams, but once two things happen: they sign a pivot and they return to the 1-and-1 rule. So Nico Williams will be like the third thing that they're going to be trying to scratch off. It's going to be, again, the pivot first and then the 1-on-1 rule. Nico Williams is excited by the idea of a Barcelona move. Positive relationships between Nico Williams' camp and Barcelona, who have told them that Nico will be a strategic player as part of the future of the club and are optimistic in concluding a deal. Xavi sees Nico Williams as a unique player and a player he can work with. And let me tell you guys, this whole thing between Xavi Hernandez and Nico Williams really does remind me of how Xavi did view Dembele when he first came in. He said, look, Dembele, you are an amazing player, a unique player. Not a lot of players can do what you can do. And let me tell you another thing. I can turn you into the best player in your position for sure. And Xavi Hernandez did exactly that. And I feel like Xavi's going to want to do the exact same thing with Nico Williams, but on the left side. Nico Williams can play on both sides, which is the right wing position and also the left wing position, but mostly he is a left winger, and I feel like Barcelona will be incorporating Nico Williams on the left wing. Can you imagine, right? Lamine Yamal on the right and Nico Williams on the left with Lewandowski in the center. That would be an insane front three. And then in the future, when Lewandowski does leave, we can have Vitor Roque with Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal. It's a very young, promising front three. Whoever takes over after Xavi Hernandez at Barcelona as the coach, they're going to be so lucky to see that Nico Williams, Lamine Yamal, and Vitor Roque are three players that can work together. Also, I would like to compare Nico Williams and Xavi just to make you guys see exactly what Barcelona are going to be getting next season if they sign the two players. When is going to be a permanent signing and when is going to be a temporary signing. Xavi will be on loan. And remember, this signing is going to be very much possible because we're not going to be spending a lot of money on this operation, and also his salary is only 1 million euros a year. PSG will be taking half, Barcelona will be taking the other half. So in total, we're only going to be paying Xavi 160,000 euros for the next season if he does arrive. 5. So as you can see with these two players, they're very similar. Very similar. I think that Nico Williams does have an extra advantage in off actions, also in carries, in dribbles, and also in assist. Xavi Simons does beat Nico Williams in key passes and within the expected goals and the expected assists. To have Nico Williams and Xavi Simons rotate on the left wing position, Xavi Hernandez is not going to be losing a lot. Like if you take away Nico and you put in Xavi Simons, you're going to be getting the exact same thing, which is generating chances, being a monster on 1v1s. There is a reason, my friends, why Xavi Simons has 9 goals and 13 assists in 42 matches and why Nico Williams has 7 goals and 15 assists within 34 matches, because they know how to get themselves in positions where they can find the player inside the box, and that is very important, and especially for Lewandowski, a player that has been dying to have attacking players surrounding him. This is also going to be another graph on how Nico Williams and Xavi Simons do compare with Joao Felix. Joao Felix is nowhere near both players when it comes to off actions, carries, dribbles, key passes, and assists. So we are going to be getting a great boost off of those different traits from Nico Williams and Xavi Simons. This is also going to be another graph on how Nico Williams and Xavi Simons compares with Rafinha. Now, this is a very different case because Rafinha is 27 years old. He's in the prime of his career, and as you can see, he's a monster. Rafinha is a monster because he beats Nico Williams and Xavi Simons in key passes, in assists, in expected goals, and expected assists. Rafinha is just that guy. Now, as you can see on the other side, right, on the right side, Rafinha does not give you a lot in off actions, in carries, and also in dribbles because Rafinha is not that type of player. But that is what Xavi Hernandez is looking for, is for players who can carry the ball, right? When you are in the middle of the pitch on the left side, you want to have a player that can take down 2 or 3 players within one dribble. Vinicius, Leao, Kylian Mbappe are monsters at that. Xavi needs that. Lamine Yamal does not really give you that. He's not really a master at that, right? And that is why Xavi Hernandez is looking for a different profile, a player that is a 1 versus 3 monster. To me, in my opinion, Rafinha still has a place in this squad, regardless if Nico Williams and Xavi Simons come or not. Rafinha is a player that we want to see with us next season because he deserves it, because he's somebody who works hard. He works hard defensively. There's no way I can see Nico Williams and Xavi Simons working defensively better than Rafinha. Rafinha is just a player that you appreciate a lot, and you can tell that he wants to be here. He can play on the right side, on the left wing, sometimes as a right central midfielder. Of course, Rafinha is a player that must stay. The only thing I am nervous about is the fact that, okay, let's just say, for example, Balde starts over Cancelo next season, because that is what I do want to see. I want to see Alejandro Balde back. We know that Alejandro Balde is a player that likes to run inside. He's not necessarily a wide player. He takes those runs between the left winger and the center forward. That is just his game, meaning that whoever the left winger is going to be needs to be very comfortable staying out wide. Nico Williams can give you that, so I can see Nico Williams and Balde working together very nicely. But here's the thing, Xavi Simons is not that type of player. He's not somebody that can stay out wide. I mean, sometimes we do see him at RB Leipzig staying out wide, touching the sidelines, but that is not his most ideal type of environment. He likes to go inside. But also with Alejandro Balde, he also likes to go inside, and so I can see a little conflict going on there. That is something that Xavi Hernandez is going to have to work with if he brings Xavi Simons in, and hopefully he can mold him with Alejandro Balde in a great way. Nico Williams, though, there is no problem. I also find it very fascinating that if we incorporate both of these players, they're going to be gelling with the squad so easy, and because of 2 different reasons. For Xavi Simons, it is because he has played at Barcelona before, and he knows Gavi, he knows Fermin Lopez, he knows Alejandro Balde, so you know, you can see that connection there on the left side. He almost knows all of La Masia, maybe even Eric Garcia if Eric Garcia does come back. As for Nico Williams, even though he's not a player that went through the Barcelona academy, he plays for the Spanish national team, and he knows Ansu, he knows Lamine Yamal, he knows Kubarsi, he knows Pedri, he knows Gavi, he knows many players within the squad, so I can see it like a whole family being formed here. The chemistry between all of these players will be insane, and it gets me excited. It really does, because I think that Barcelona are going in the correct way, in the correct path. Look at how Real Madrid, how great of a team they are in the Champions League. They're going to be reinforcing themselves with Kylian Mbappe. Like, we have to respond back. We need to have our own great left winger. But of course, none of this is going to matter if Barcelona do not sign a pivot. A pivot is so mandatory, my friends. If we have no choice but to spend 110 million euros on a pivot, we have to do that. Even if that means that we cannot sign another player no more. We have to, right? We are forced to sign a pivot first because that is the most important position for us in the summer. And I hope that it is Zubimendi, because it's also going to allow us to go back to a simple 4-3-3 formation. And if we go back to a 4-3-3 formation, we would also be allowed to have 2 natural wingers. Hence why I'm bringing up Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams. I'm going to be making another separate video on what this also means for Bernardo Silva, because if Nico Williams Williams and Chavis come in, I feel like Bernardo Silva is not going to be coming. And to me, a player like Bernardo Silva is so mandatory because I believe that he is the perfect player that can bring the experience and the leadership that is going to be required for this young team. But again, that is going to be for a whole other separate video. We'll see how this does progress and what this means for Silva in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.